everyone, and welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. So today we are going to make lasagna. And it's so interesting because I've been wanting to make this lasagna dish for a little while now. And then I asked my husband what did he want for dinner, and he said, can we have lasagna? And I thought, perfect, great time. So we're going to do this in a couple of different tapings. I want to tell you a little bit what I have going on here, and I've got a lot of pots going on, first of all, and a lot of different ingredients that I've already cut up and kind of prepared because this dish takes a little while to prepare. It's simple, it's easy, but it takes a little time. So the first thing that I have going on here is I have some olive oil, and again, I'll put all the ingredients on the site. But I just put kind of enough olive oil to cover the bottom of the pan. I've cut up half of an onion, sliced it, and then a small bell pepper. And I just decided to use yellow to add some different color to my mixture. And then I have a tablespoon of minced garlic. So that's here sauteing. And what's going to happen, I'm just going to move this around so this can cook kind of evenly. Once I can tell that this is softened, then I'm going to add the ground turkey to it, okay? And so we're going to get this going. So this is looking great. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit, and I know I get muffled a little bit once that happens, so bear with me. So we've got that going, okay? While we have that going, what I've done is I have my hot water going, and in here I'm going to place the noodles. Now I only use whole wheat, and so what I've done is I've got some whole wheat noodles, and I'm going to be using this size pan to make the pasta. And again, you know, I'm a big time freezer, so we're only going to be eating a portion of this tonight for dinner, but we will freeze the rest, and I'll cut it up in kind of smaller portions. So I have 8 noodles here. I'm going to just put them in the hot water, and so that they can be getting ready while all of this is working. So we've got 8 noodles. And then what I cut up already is 2 bunches of broccoli, so kind of the 2 crowns of broccoli. I put, and you can use whatever carrots you want, but I have just about 3/4 of a cup of carrots. I have 1 zucchini and 1 squash, and they're all sliced, okay, like so. The other thing I have going on back here is the tomato sauce. And really, you can use whatever your favorite tomato sauce is. Let me go in and saute this a little because I don't want it to stick. And I want to get the ground turkey in as well. So move this around. So on the spaghetti sauce, I mean, you really can use whatever your favorite spaghetti sauce is. I'm a little partial to Classico because a lot of the tomato sauces or spaghetti sauces, they add a lot of sugar. And Classico is one of those ones. I use either tomato and basil or Classico with vegetables. And it just doesn't have as much sugar, and it does taste really good. It's not overpowering. So what I've done is I have 2 jars of that already in my pot here, okay? And I also cut up about 6 basil leaves because you guys know I'm growing basil. So this is a great opportunity to put it in my meal, my dish. So while this is warming up here, I'm going to go on and turn that on. I'm going to put the vegetables in here, okay, because these have to soften. So this is actually going to be cooking while the ground turkey is also cooking. And again, as you all know, I much prefer turkey versus beef, so I'm going to be using that. And what's going to happen, because I really have so many vegetables in here, and again, I have 2 large, let me say 2 large jars. It's just going to be mostly a vegetable, I would say, lasagna with meat, okay? So I'm going to toss this around. I'm going to go on and put the lid back on this so this can start getting itself going. And this is ready for me to add the ground turkey. So we're gonna go on and put the ground turkey in here like so. And I like using this one to mash it, actually. I think you've seen me do that before. So we're gonna mash it. And then you're gonna see me add a few interesting spices. So of course your traditional salt and pepper. We already have the basil actually in with the sauce. I'm not going to add any of that here. But what I am going to add here is my onion there. I'm going to add some oregano. And guess what? You know, you can easily take your oregano that you grow. I've shown you how to dry it and use it yourself, right? So I'm gonna just go in and add, you'll see I'm just kind of shaking this around, fair amount of pepper and salt. Again, I don't have a measured amount because you all know me. If I don't have a measured amount, it's kind of to the taste. I use my shaker. We're now going to add some oregano, and I usually do this while it's cooking, right? Because then I can just take all of this. I know if the meat is seasoned well, then when I add it to the sauce, everything is great. And again, I've got the sauce going because I want to make sure the vegetables are cooking. Now, this is something, it's called a Tuscan mix, and this is hit or miss. I usually get this from Marshall's or TJ Maxx, and it's just no particular, it's just kind of a lot of Italian flavors. And so I'm going to, and this isn't actually the secret, but this is, if you find these at Market, Home Store, or any of those places, get these. They're usually not very expensive. I'm just looking, it looks like I paid $4 for this. But very, very nice mixture of a lot of Italian seasonings. So I don't usually pick a brand. All of them are usually good. Now here goes my secret item, and this is cayenne red pepper. So I know if I'm having my girlfriend Regina over, I can't use it because she's allergic to it. But I just sprinkle a little bit in there. It just adds a nice little extra something. Okay? So with that, let me go on and I'm gonna kind of toss this around a little bit, and then I'm gonna use my masher. It's something, I don't know what it is, but when I cook with ground turkey, I just find that you've got, because of the consistency, you want it to kind of mirror ground beef, because I usually have to use this masher because it's thicker, you know, it's not as fat, it's lean, and so to make it, you know, kind of come out the same consistency, you have to kind of use that, all right? So we need to turn the heat up a little bit more. So what I'm going to do, you can kind of see what I'm doing. This is something, you've seen me make this for chili. I mean, this tends to be the base of a lot of dishes that I make. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not going to use a full time to cook this, because you all know how to cook this. You're gonna let it get brown, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is we're gonna come back after this is done, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take this and put it right in with the sauce. I will show you the consistency of the sauce. And as you can see, my lasagna is falling down, so we wanna do that. So I'm gonna wait for the lasagna to cook. I'm gonna wait for this to finish cooking, and I'm gonna pour it in here. We're gonna come back, and then I'm gonna show you, when we come back, how to layer it, okay? So we'll pour this, I'm gonna pour this inside with the sauce and all the vegetables, and then we're gonna start layering it. We're gonna layer it with mozzarella cheese, we're gonna layer it with sour cream, all good stuff, okay? So let's let this finish cooking. I'll come back once this is done, and then I'll show you how to layer it. Okay, we're back. So I want to show you a couple of things. As you can see, I've kind of moved my station around. I needed more space. Here is my lasagna, and I've kept it in the water because you don't want it to get sticky, okay? So even when it's done, just keep the water, turn it off because you don't want it to tear apart. And this is the tricky part, getting them out. So I can't guarantee you they're not going to tear when I put them in. What I do want to show you, and I hope you can get a good look at this, is the beauty and the richness of this meat sauce. This is really the deal here. And maybe I can just kind of hold up for a spoonful. You can see it's pretty chunky because I have lots of vegetables. I've got the ground turkey in there, and I mean, it smells delicious. Now, admittedly, you know, you're gonna have to taste yours just as I tasted mine. And during the break, I did add a little more salt, a little more pepper, and some more oregano. So you're gonna have to do it to your taste, okay? But I would recommend you not add the extra seasoning until you've actually put it in the pot with all the vegetables, so everything can mix together, okay? So we've got this going here. The way I do this is I layer it. And by the way, I said sour cream, I meant cottage cheese, so cottage cheese is what we're gonna layer it with. So I always start on the bottom, and I just put like a really, really thin layer of the sauce with the vegetables on the bottom because I don't want the pasta to stick, okay? So I'm gonna just layer this as so, and one other thing, you know, if you find that you've cooked too much, you know what, you can cook this just as is. Like I could serve this over bow tie pasta or linguine, and it's a meal unto itself. Add a salad, you're doing great. But I've just got the bottom kind of layered like so. And then what I'm gonna do is I like to then put next the lasagna. So I'm gonna just lay the lasagna down as so on top. That's my first layer. I'm then going to lay on top of that, I'm gonna spread some cottage cheese. And as I'm looking at this, my pasta, and this is the first time I've used this particular brand, it's actually expanded quite a bit. So I may only use 6 of these instead of the 8, but at least I have it. Okay, so I've got that spread like so, and I'm going to show you how this looks. So it just looks just layered like that. And then you're going to take your cottage cheese, okay, and you're going to spread your cottage cheese kind of throughout, right on top of, and maybe what I can do here is move around my pot. And I am going to use this whole thing of cottage cheese. So you want to spread it all the way out like so. I'll use about half of it here. Then I'll use the rest on the next layer. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to layer on top of that some mozzarella. Okay. So we're going to put the mozzarella here just on top of that because you want cheese kind of throughout. And I've opened 1 packet, but I know I'm going to use 2 packets, okay? All right, so we're back down to our vegetable and ground beef mixture again. We're just laying it on top, like so. It looks so delicious. Oh my goodness, looks so delicious. I was a pescatarian at one time. So a pescatarian is a vegetarian that eats fish, and I oftentimes would make this with, you know, just with the vegetables, and that's it. So it's kind of up to you, all right? So I want to leave enough for one last layer, okay? So I've got this on, again, I've kind of layered it really nicely. Now I'm going to put my last layer of pasta, and we will only need to use 6 of these, okay? So we're going to go on and put these in nicely. You might notice how I'm grabbing it in the middle. If you found that, oh my God, they break on me and they tear, just try to grab them in the middle and just be gentle. Don't overcook them because they're going to cook some more in the oven anyway, but got them spread out like so. Okay, so we're going to put this out of our way. I'm actually going to come out of the screen for a second here. And we'll come back over here. So what I want to do is now add the balance of the cottage cheese. Okay, so we're just going to put this here because we're going to just spread it throughout the whole thing. Like so. And this is a low-fat version or skim. So no need to have the extra fat if it's not necessary, as long as they're not adding extra sugar or anything, which I can't imagine they would, but you just never know what they add in ingredients these days. Just read the label. All right, so we're done with that. We're gonna put another layer of cheese, mozzarella, and so it's not gonna take a whole nother pack. I'm gonna just very quickly open the second pack. I had it here to open, and guess what? We're going to use it. So that means these are 8 ounces, so I would have used 16 ounces of that. I particularly like the mozzarella by Kraft. So we've got that spread nicely. We're going to now top this off with the very last of the meat sauce, and then we top this with that cheese. Okay, because I don't add too much more. There's no need to add any more pasta. You've got enough carbs there. So, of course, the trick is trying to spread it out, right? So you have enough for your layers. So 2 layers of pasta, 3 layers of the meat sauce. I'm going to get every little bit out of here. And again, I'll put the measurements out for you so you'll know how much spaghetti sauce I used and all of that. Okay, so we've got that going on. Spread that nice and evenly. As you can see, this is looking fantastic. Voila. Now we're going to top it off with our cheese. Then I've got the oven heated now to 350. It doesn't have to stay in too long because, you know, pretty much everything is cooked, right? So we're just going to kind of spread the cheese on. Again, if you want more cheese, add more cheese. 2 packages, I think, is enough, okay? Plus we've got cheese all throughout. All right, so I think we're good to go. I'm going to stop the videotape now. We're going to put it in the oven, and then I'll come back kind of with the timing, how long it took. Again, you know, it always varies based upon your oven, but if at 350, we'll kind of see how long it takes. So this is what's going into the oven, and my stomach and my husband and I will be very happy to see what it looks like and tastes like when it comes out of the oven. Okay, so we'll stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, everyone. Oh my goodness, this smells so incredibly delicious. So I'm going to lift it up so you can see it. So it was in the oven for 30 minutes on 350. Again, yours, you know, may take a little longer, a little less, but you can kind of see it. It's pretty heavy here. It is looking fantastic. You can see how the cheese has melted. It has a nice kind of consistency to it, not too wet or anything like that. If you find that maybe you've added too much sauce, just keep it in the oven a little longer. Don't turn the heat up much more because you don't want to dry it out completely or overcook the cheese or anything like that. But here is this wonderful lasagna. Again, ground turkey base with loaded vegetables, and I will certainly include all of the ingredients. So you guys take care. It's too hot for me to taste right now. I really just took it out of the oven, but this is dinner with some nice Italian bread, and I'm looking forward to it. So I want to thank my husband for making the suggestion. So thanks, guys. Take care. Share, share, share. Bye-bye.